Irene Forte, the visionary founder behind the renowned Italian skincare brand bearing her name.
If you really just want one, get a good cleanser. The product I really can't live without is the hibiscus night cream. There are different types of dirt, ones that can be removed with oil and ones that can be removed with water. So just washing your face with water is not enough.
And do we need to use even a tonic after that to support the cleansing step?
A tonic is fantastic because it balances the pH of the skin. Hi, Crina, thanks for having me.
I'm really happy because we actually met in person a few days ago, and it was lovely to connect with you. I love your products, and I can't wait to dive into everything. But let's start with the beginning. When you were bringing your beauty products from the dream to life, when you started to dream about this industry?
Well, it really happened very organically because I was overseeing human resources and learning and development for my family's business, which is hotels. And I was always extremely passionate about wellness. I did a lot of sport. I ate well. And no one was really looking after the spas. So I started doing that on the side whilst doing my full-time job. And it was at that point that I was getting into products and looking at all the products that the spas were using. They were all using different brands. The spa managers were deciding what to bring in. And that was kind of when I started thinking about having a unified thread across the group of spas. And initially it wasn't to do my own. It was really to bring in a brand that I was passionate or excited about. And given that we're predominantly based in Italy, I was looking for an Italian brand. I wanted something that was natural, but that wasn't naive. I wanted something that could still stand on a retail shelf, because a lot of the spa brands are quite spa-y, but not necessarily great for retail. And I did a lot of digging and struggled to find anything that I was really excited about. And so that's kind of when the crazy idea began. We have this amazing organic farm in Sicily at the Verdura Resort. And I'd worked at the resort for a year on my year out from university and thought, well, wouldn't it be nice to use the ingredients from the farm and create a small line? Initially was my thinking that we could bring across the properties. And that's when I started looking for a lab in Italy. That's when I came across Dr. Ferry, who's our scientific director today and has been formulating for 40 years now. And I started working with her to really kind of bring the line to life. And what was initially kind of going to be maybe 3 products and a signature protocol ended up being 26 at launch. And our philosophy is very much what it was then, natural but clinically proven, really inspired by the Mediterranean, using ingredients from our farm in Sicily, but also like from all over Sicily and elsewhere in Italy, being 100% produced in Italy. So I should caveat that I'm Italian origin, and so that was also important for me personally. And that experiential, because that's really important for the spa environment, but that were not allergenic, so didn't cause skin reactions, were really actually very kind on the skin. And to do this, we developed allergen-free fragrances, and then a big focus on sustainability, really B Corp certified. So it took 4 years for me to develop the brand, and I launched for the spas, and that's kind of how the journey started. But yeah, it's been an organic process in that sense, that I didn't go out initially to be like, I'm going to launch a line that's going to be with retailers and be sold across the globe.
How did you find the idea first on the first project? I understand that you were thinking about the first 3, but you developed more than 20. But when you are thinking about the first project, because we have a lot of listeners that they are entrepreneurs or they want to start something new in this industry, how do you figure out what's the first project? What is the first product?
I mean, it's really hard, I think, but I was lucky because I had all these spa therapists across all the spas that were very opinionated and knew what they wanted. So initially I was thinking an oil, a face oil to do a face massage with, a mask, a cream, basically, keeping it really simple and figuring out how to create a protocol around that. Then as I tried and tested things with them,
at the end, it's so important to have a feedback and to listen, right?
exactly. Then it developed because they started telling me exactly what they wanted and that they wanted more and this and that.
I'm very curious because we are talking about first product, second product. I'm very curious to understand for a person that is listening, for a woman that is listening now, what are the most essential products that she should have? Because there are so many theories about you should use this and that. Obviously depends on the skin type, but as a general idea, do we really need so many products?
No, I think, look, the probably the most important step for me is the cleansing step.
Why?
The actual step of cleansing your skin. Because I think that people often don't actually wash their face. And then your skin accumulates dirt, pollution, which causes oxidative stress, which ultimately creates cellular damage, etc. So I think the cleansing part's really important. And there are different types of dirt, ones that can be removed with oil and ones that can be removed with water. So just washing your face with water is not enough. And I think that often people skimp out on the cleanser because they think, oh, it's just the cleanser and it's not actually staying on my face.
But how do we make sure that we are cleaning our face well? Like, what do we need to pay attention of? Besides the fact that we don't clean it with water, what else? Only water.
I think you want a cleanser that's non-stripping, so sulfate-free, that doesn't strip off your kind of skin barrier. And I think the cleanser is an excellent opportunity to really massage in to areas of the skin, particularly T-zone, nose, chin, but also to start getting circulation going. And yeah, so that's what I would say.
And do we need to use even a tonic after that to support the cleansing step or not?
So a tonic is fantastic because it balances the pH of the skin. It also helps to remove the calc, so what's left over, the calcium minerals from the tap water. And it definitely helps with the penetration of ingredients to come in your skincare regime. However, I'm going to be very controversial here and say, if you really just want one, get a good cleanser. The toner can come in next time.
Yeah, I love your cleanser, and I'm not paid for this. I love it because you really feel like you are kind of in the spa in that moment.
Wow.
Because the smell, and I want to touch this as well, related to the smell and the whole experience, is the first time, because normally a cleanser, you just put it on a cotton pad, you just clean your face, at least back in time when I really did a superficial way of doing a cleanser. But now, this taking a few seconds or a minute, 2 minutes, to really even massage your skin, it's such a beautiful moment of even connect with yourself, being in the present moment.
Exactly. And I think that's why the organoleptic properties, the smell of a product and the texture is so important, because you want to be able to enjoy your regime, and by enjoying it, you're going to do it. And you're also going to have an added benefit because it's something that you find a ritual, relaxing, a moment for you. So that's why I like the fact that we have fragrance products, but done in a gentle, not overpowering way.
Yes, this is what I wanted to ask about the fragrance product. Because to be honest, I was all the time scared of having perfume in the products. How do you make sure that a perfume is not, there are so many studies now related to perfume in our skin. How do you make sure that this is a healthy routine?
So I think there are things to look out for, in the sense that there are fragrance allergens, and the EU has define 26 fragrance allergens. And in EU, let's say skincare law, they have to be labeled on the packaging. Not in the US yet, but that's being changed now. And so you want to look out for the asterisks at the end of an ingredients list that says linenol, citronellol, farnesol, those sorts of ingredients. And unfortunately, you don't have to say that they're allergens. You have to say, so a lot of brands say like from organic sources. But
So it's kind of hidden.
So it's kind of hidden, but they still have to be asterisks. So it's about looking out for those, because that's what causes, they're allergens, so they cause irritation. And so what we did in our formulation is we purified the fragrances from those allergens, enabling us to deliver, yes, a fragrance that is started initially as a mix of essential oils, and essential oils are wonderfully pure, but they have all these allergens in them. And then using things to remove, obviously, the allergens. So I think that's the allergens is the main thing to look out for, because also if there's a high level of fragrance in a product, you're more likely to have even more allergens in that product.
But the worst situation, if you have a highest level of perfume, what are the side effects in this situation?
Well, I think it really depends, because some people have quite robust skin and they wouldn't necessarily have a reaction. I don't think it's great having a very high percentage of synthetic fragrance on your skin, but also because I'm a purist and our products are natural. But I think it depends on the person, and there is this big misconception that like natural products are kinder on the skin as well, which is not always the case, because essential oils, if a brand is fragrancing their products with essential oils, which is what most natural brands do, they tend to be full of allergens.
How did you learn all these things? Because I was in fashion industry, but I was as a buyer before, and then I went into the production, and I have to really learn everything. So it's kind of like, I suppose you are learning all this on the way, right? Like, how to manage all these
I'm learning time and on the job, but obviously we have a fantastic scientific director, and I met her in 2014. So I've been working with her for a very long time, and it's something I'm interested in. So when you're interested in something, you read more, you study more, but I don't have any kind of accreditation or any I would love to study properly and get something, but I just haven't found the time, and so I rely very much on what I'm learning from a team of pharmacologists, chemists, etc., and Dr. Ferry, of course.
Can you share with us one of information during this process that was really like an aha moment for you, or like a shocking moment for you during to your research related to beauty? Is it something that you didn't know and was like, oh my God, this is amazing, or this is crazy? Like, I don't know, maybe an ingredient that...
I think the main thing that was like quite an aha moment is, I think if you think, I always presume if something was 100% natural, then it was better for me.
Mm-hmm.
And actually what I've learned in this process is that natural can often, or nature is often much more unpredictable than synthetic. And, mixing a product with 25 naturally derived actors is not necessarily actually going to achieve the result that you want. And so the real focus on using science to get the best out of nature, I think, is really important, because, again, not everything in nature is good for you. take poison ivy, or I don't know, there's lots of take essential oils that are considered 100% natural but full of allergens. So I think that was like a big learning curve, and that like synthetic is not necessarily always bad. There's like there's excellent synthetic ingredients like peptides, certain peptides like a tetrapeptide, or even very good synthetics that can be used as preservatives but aren't your typical like paraben, etc. So I think that was a big learning curve for me along the way. So whilst I'm a purist and I believe in naturally derived, I also know that like you need science to get the best out of that, and also that there are synthetics that are great for the skin or that work really well, and we can't be so. It should be about having products that are good for you rather than being so strict in one direction or the other.
But how do we know what is the right product for us? Testing, I suppose, right?
I think a lot of testing. In terms of like ingredients, though, there's like a really good app, for instance, called Yuka. I don't know if you've ever used it.
Yes, I do. Yes.
So Yuka's great because it doesn't have this like black and white approach. It really does like pull out the ingredients that are actually not good for you, rather than like being like, oh, there's a synthetic in here, this can't score 100. So that's quite a good tool. And then I think in terms of finding what's right for you, it is a bit of trial and error, and understanding like if you've got really sensitive skin, yeah, avoid allergens, avoid. I mean, yeah, it's I guess trial and error is the best way to put it.
Very interesting.
It's difficult. The market's oversaturated. There's so much noise. There's
so much information,
and also so much information often from people that don't really
are not experts.
Exactly. So that's the challenge.
I would love to dive a little bit more into building a beauty brand, like exploring the significance of building a brand within the beauty industry and learning from your achievements. For someone who is interested of doing that, can you tell us more? Can you share us more from your experience?
I think, look, the market's oversaturated. So I think the important thing is to ensure that you have a reason for being. What differentiates you? What makes you stand out? Why? I think when I started, natural was booming, but the natural science, the natural but clinically proven was not there yet. So that's what I really tried to focus on. And then, of course, like I have a very nice Italian story. Italian skincare is not really, it's growing, Italian skincare, but it wasn't really even a thing when I started. So there were a few things that I really focused on to ensure that the brand could still feel a bit different in this busy market. So I think that's the first thing to say, like what's your reason for being? How are you going to stand out? And I know it's not easy to have that answer, but I think, you need to be clear on that before doing it, because it's tough.
So I think you can apply this on each industry.
On any industry.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then I'd say surrounding yourself with people with experience. Either it's a therapist that's tried lots of products, it's the right doctor to formulate, it's the right team of people that complement your skill set. I know you can't necessarily have a team at the beginning, but at least like bringing in people into areas that you don't understand as appropriate. Say that the packaging itself is is really tough because minimum order quantities are high. Doing anything sustainable makes your MOQs very high. But then again, and then it's just like resilience. Being able to know that you might have to pivot, being able to take criticism, learning to adapt when you need to, and not being being true to the values that you focused on from the beginning, but not being so set that it has to be like that, because ultimately you learn by doing. And the other thing to say is, yes, you want to be ready for launch, but I learned so much more after I launched. All my mistakes transpired really after I launched and like as the business was rolling. And if I think of what the brand was like the day I launched versus now, you know, it's changed and developed so much. So yeah, don't waste too much time trying to get everything perfect, because actually in the end, like, it will change so much once it's live.
Someone told me that the most expensive thing is to just wait and not doing it.
And not doing it, exactly.
And it's so funny because now, together with my husband, we are teaching to a school in Florence about entrepreneurship and fashion. And yesterday we had to push them to take a decision no matter what, because they have to find the right. And it was so interesting because it was such a good reminder to just do it, because at the end, like you said, you learn in the process more.
Exactly. Just do it. And everyone has the capability to do it, I think.
I am sure.
Put their mind to it.
Yeah. What is your favorite products? What are your favorite products from your line? It's how you're honest. Probably like I ask you, what is your favorite baby? Yeah, I know.
It's like being your favorite child. But I would say our top seller and like the product I really can't live without is the hibiscus night cream. And that's got an ingredient called myoxinol in it, which comes from hibiscus seed peptides. It's an ingredient we've trademarked that works on wrinkles. So it's clinically proven to visibly reduce wrinkles, that product. But then it has a lot of other very nice ingredients like ceramides, green pea polypeptides, hyaluronic acid, omega-rich oils. And we saw amazing consumer trial results on the product. So we saw age-defying results in 10 days. And it's a very rich cream.
You see in 10 days?
So in the consumer trials, the consumers that were using it saw that they had more hydrated, younger looking skin, etc. in 10 days. I would say from a scientific perspective that to really notice proper results, I would say you need 28 days. But of course, like, skin can be more hydrated immediately. It can feel plumper immediately. Your compromised skin barrier can be improved very quickly as well. So yeah, rich cream. I use it day and night in the winter. A lot of people just use it at night. In the summer, I just use it at night, and it's just really a product that when I'm not using it, I feel the difference.
That's so interesting. I love it too. I tested and I love it. I'm very curious. For example, in the morning, I woke up today. I'm a little bit puffy. I want to look fresh. Like, what will be your tips for a morning to really just look fresh and not hiding behind the makeup?
So if I'm a bit tired and a bit puffy, like I also feel what I actually did this morning is I did a pre-cleanse with a face oil, with our rose face oil. So I just did a bit of like massage routine with the oil. And then I went on to actually cleanse with the almond cleansing milk. So it's just like a bit of that kind of lifting, upwards movements, knuckling, deep circles, a bit of draining of the eyes. You can also integrate a gua sha, But I feel like that just gives my skin a bit of a boost.
Mm-hmm.
The other option is to do that like before cleansing with like a mask, a cream-based mask. So like the pistachio face mask is great. So doing that and then going on to cleanse, toner, serum, eye cream, face cream. That really helps. So yeah, it's often a mask or an oil, and a type of kind of pre-cleanse massage helps give me a lift in those situations.
Yeah, I believe so. But it's something so easy at the end, and it's you just have it all the time with you if you use your hands. I'm moving on into some rapid questions.
Yep.
Just to make it a little bit more fun, our discussion. Are you ready?
I think so.
Okay. BB cream or foundation for everyday wear?
BB cream.
And why?
Lighter, easier, because in the end I think it's more about the skin in the first place than like trying to cover it.
What's the last book you read that made a significant impact on you?
I really, really appreciated Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker.
Yes, I loved it.
Did you read it?
I read it, and you know what was the shocking part on the book? When he mentioned about this test with spiders, that basically they put the spider to test coffee, cocaine, alcohol, and then they were to the web of the spider, how he's building it. And the most shocking and unproductive result was we buy coffee.
Yeah. No, I know. But the thing is, it's not, why I loved it is because it's not preachy, the book. It just gives you a lot of tools and a real understanding of why sleep is so important. And now I'm totally sleep deprived with my daughter, so it also is in my ear a bit. I really enjoyed that book, and it gave me a lot of like useful tools without me feeling guilty, I think.
Yeah.
If I don't sleep well.
Yeah. And it's very easy to read.
Easy to read, yeah.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever received for managing a successful business?
I mean, I just think my father's a very hard worker, and he always said to me, look, you can have all the opportunity, but the working world is really tough. And if you're not willing to give it 110% and really graft, it's not going to happen, basically.
Hard work, yeah. What about the personal growth and happiness?
Best advice? I don't know, because I think this is also something that you have to learn yourself in a way, and learn how to do it yourself, because I don't think there's an answer for everyone. But for me, it has been about doing something I'm passionate about and believe in, and that ultimately my work doesn't feel like work. It's my life in the end, and I think that is so important. Yeah.
And I saw you in Firenze on the masterclass. You know, like you are. I mean, how many? How many months, weeks you're pregnant?
I'm 36. 36, I think.
And you had this masterclass, and you had this woman, and you had a morning one, and you had an evening one, and you were just with so much patience, explain everything. I was really amazed by your power.
You're very sweet, but I love it. I enjoy what I'm doing, and I think that gives you energy in the end. And it's exciting, and ultimately, like, it's still very surreal, but explaining the products I created to someone, or meeting a customer that uses the products and things, I still haven't really fully got my head around that, but I like being able to share the creation that I believe in, and I use my products with other people. I think that's fun.
Honestly, do you use some other products or just your product?
So I actually only use my products with a few other things. So I use Clinicept, which is an antibacterial spray, because I have a tendency of hormonal breakouts and also rosacea. So I'll use that after toning. And also I use prescription azelaic acid. So 20%, I use Skinner Ren. And I
use doing this. It's a helping for peeling, right?
So it helps with breakouts. It helps with rosacea. But it's much kinder on the skin than a retinol, so it does also help with brightening, pigmentation, etc. But it's also very hydrating. You can use it when you're pregnant. I've never used a retinol because I have more sensitive skin, and I'm not interested, to be honest. I want to protect my skin barrier. So azelaic acid is a very good option to just keep breakouts, pigmentation at bay, etc. And I use that at night before my cream, after my serum, basically. So those are my little things in between. I've used also prescription cilantro sometimes, which is for rosacea. So that it's more prescription stuff that sometimes comes in between, rather than actually specifically using other brands. I've tried a lot of stuff, and there's some great brands out there. It's not that. I'm really happy with my products, and they work well for my skin. So I don't feel the need to
change it. Yeah. Related to the treatments, are you doing any treatments?
So me personally,
massage. Yeah, you personally.
Yeah. Me personally, I love treatments. I love facials. I really, really love a lymphatic drainage face massage. That, for me, makes me achieve great results. I also have, I love massage, basically. I have a great facialist that does a Kabido massage, which is this Japanese massage technique to really boost microcirculation. So I try and do something like that once a month, once every 2 months. Historically, I did a lot more laser. I did Fraxel. I did, I think it's called Clear and Lift. But to be honest, it made my skin really sensitive. And actually, what I've noticed is that my skin's better when I have a good skincare regime and I'm doing regular face massage, keeping it quite simple and not doing anything overly aggressive. So that's something I've learned over time, because I think when I was younger, I was quite quick to
jump in a new treatment.
Yeah.
How important is the inside work, like food? Obviously, we talk about sleep, sport. As I know, you're fascinated by this.
Vital. I think for good skin, you really need a 360-degree approach. That's for sure. So for me, that's really movement, because that helps blood flow, oxygen, etc. Helps mood as well, which makes a difference. It's diet, of course. Lots of whole grains, omega oils, just a really, limiting refined sugar as much as you can. I drink a lot of coffee, so I'm not the...
Yeah, but
I'm not the coffee
your waste of time.
And I think it's about balance with food as well, because you can't, you don't want to be too extreme. I think everything in moderation is always the best approach. And mind is vital. Meditation, being able to take that moment for yourself. Sleep, we've already touched upon. And then I think it's just about the right skincare regime for you. Beautiful rituals when you can at home, whether it's like, I didn't sleep very well, I'm going to do that face massage before I cleanse, and having moments as well, if you can do some treatments like a nice facial massage. I find nothing more relaxing than a facial massage. It's probably the only thing that sends me to sleep. Because body massages don't do it for me, but a face massage really does.
I love this. I love it. I love it as well. All this. And I'm learning to just practice it. I mean, it's so easy now. You can just to go on YouTube and you'll find
and just follow exactly, and it's just a moment for you which makes you feel good.
What's next, Irene? Besides the new baby coming in the life, what's next for Irene Forte?
I mean, we closed big Series A with Al Catterton, the biggest consumer-focused fund, and they're US-based, in July. And so we've really been focusing on growing the business in the US, to be honest, and building the team out there. And just really building on the foundations that we have, because I think the foundations are there. And now it's about, how do we build brand awareness? How do we get noisier? A lot of people still haven't heard of the brand, but we have amazing repeat customer rates, a real loyalty with our customer base. And so it's like, how do we now share it with more people? It's not about being everywhere. We've got great retail distribution already, so it's about really working with the retail partners that we have, such as Blue Mercury in the US. We've got Bergdorf, also with Neiman's, Saks, etc.
Amazing.
And really trying to be recognized as the natural science Italian skincare brand that it remains true to its values, to B Corp, to all that we do in terms of sustainability, I would say.
I have another curiosity, because you can understand the customer, because you organize these events and you understand and you are traveling. What's the difference between different nationalities, skin-wise? Do you see a difference? Like, for example, in America, they are, they use more makeup and not paying attention of skincare, or do you see any difference or not so much?
So, I mean, in Europe, I see that the Italians definitely have, for example, this is a generalization, but what I'm seeing, less sensitive skin, to say the Brits or the Germans, and slightly more oily combination skin, I would say, for example, whereas the British, it's very sensitive, dry, actually more prone to developing fine lines and wrinkles earlier, and more similar to Germans. So the Northerns, I think, it's the slightly fairer skin versus, I think, the slightly more Mediterranean skin. The Americans, I mean,
so variety. It's so much variety.
So much variety. So what we're seeing everywhere is compromised skin barrier, and so real issues with skin sensitivity,
which probably is coming from treatments, like you mentioned before.
I think it's
for products,
very aggressive treatments, very aggressive products, pollution, stressful lifestyles. But I'm seeing that more and more and more, to be honest.
My last question, for someone who is now in their journey to start to dream again, what will be your advice to aspiring into the new dream of them? What will be your suggestion?
I would say, just go for it. Surround yourself with the best support network possible, people that complement you And you have to be resilient and be able to persevere. It's not always easy, but there'll be highs and lows, but the highs will be really worth it. And make it all worth it in the end.
Thank you so much, Irene, for your time.
Thanks so much for having me.
As we reach the conclusion of yet another enriching episode, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Irene for generously sharing her time and wisdom with us, especially amid the really busyness of preparing to welcome her second child very soon into the world. Having had the privilege of meeting Irene face to face recently, I can attest to her boundless energy and passion for her work, a true testament to the joy she finds in her endeavors. To you, my dear listener, I hope you really got the valuable nuggets of wisdom from our conversation. Let us commit together to embrace discipline and action rather than waiting for the elusive perfect moment to pursue our dreams. Who is with me on this journey of transformation and achievements? Let's embark together, fueled by inspiration and determination, to turn our dreams into reality. Thank you for joining us, and until next time, keep chasing those dreams with unwavering zeal.